Welcome to the Coquitlam Whiskey Barrel Podcast with your hosts, Uncle Corey and Uncle Dono.
Recording off some bullshit.
He left his Stanley Cup back on the ice in 1980.
It's embarrassing.
Let's give Corey a round of applause like you were the fucking service staff at a wedding.
Who shot you? Separate the weak from the obsolete.
Is there a better intro in podcast history?
No.
Like the 06010 has nothing better. It
That-
doesn't have nothing on it.
I don't even want to talk about that podcast because it is fucking devolved into garbage.
It's terrible. I don't even listen to it.
I can't.
No.
I can't. It's like them talking about their cats for like 40 minutes.
It's whiskey barrel or bust for me.
100%.
It's where I get all my best advice.
Yeah,
As do the other 6 people that tune in.
Yeah.
Well, maybe people shouldn't take our advice to showing them where we are in the standings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me and you mean?
Well, we battled it out this week.
Yeah, you killed me.
Yeah, I smoked you.
You smoked me. I got fucking sewered in 3 different ways, and I'm really happy. Are we going to talk about this right off the hop? Because I want to talk about the bullshit. Whatever. We can move on. I don't know.
Moving on? What bullshit? Talk to me.
Well, I'm upset.
Are you upset that you've locked down the Jacksonville backfield? You've got all 3 Jacksonville
Okay, here,
backs?
look. And
upset?
present company excluded, I'm upset that when one person makes a mistake, it's immediately fucked on, don't worry about you having top spot and picking up a guy. And then, oh, well, I didn't mean to, so sorry. And then the very next week, I get fucked, and it's, well, you get fucked.
How did you get fucked?
Okay, so what happened was we make this trade. That's what I'm saying. Do you want to get right into this?
You made a trade at 4:30 on a Thursday.
Yes.
Right.
But because I didn't text Mike right away, all of a sudden it was, nope, the guys that you traded, they're locked in.
Because the guy played Thursday night.
Yes, but we made the trade before Thursday night, and it was a fair trade. There's nothing to worry about. And I know personally that you can go in and move things around so that those guys move. The trade button not working on Mike's phone is bullshit. Is absolute bullshit because I believe it wasn't working, but that doesn't matter. You can override that. He knows that, and I know that. But it's all of a sudden it's. So even I'm like, okay, I guess that's fine. I need to win this week. I'm making a trade to win this week. And then turns out that the other guys I traded.
You got hot and you paused the thing.
Sorry, I got mad.
The backups.
Because I wanted to start TJ Yeldon over Royce Freeman, and I was happy to start Cooks over Julio, and I was happy to deal with that. But instead, the other guy, my only other running back, gets fucking traded to the Jaguars, and I traded for the 2 Jaguars. So I said, hey man, any chance I can just use one of the players that I traded for that aren't in the move? Like we could make a different trade, do something else.
Without the Thursday night guy?
No, keep them in. I'll lock them in, and I will make another trade for, and Perry even said to me, hey, you got screwed. If you want to make the trade for Yeldon and Fournette, I'll take the other pieces of our trade.
And then on Monday, trade the Thursday night guy.
Yes, exactly. And then Sunday. And then
why didn't you do that?
Mike said no.
What?
And that is why I'm fucking fired up. Because it's bullshit that I can't get any help. So instead it's, no, Don has no running backs. I'm sick and tired of playing against everybody else when I'm not playing them week to week. People are happy that I'm not doing well, and it fucking bothers me.
I'm not happy.
I know, well, because you don't get any, because I have no passion for this when I'm not doing well. I'm just fucking pissed off. Anyways, so I'm pissed off.
You wouldn't have beat me anyway. I don't care who you had.
But that's not the... Yeah, I know.
I understand. That's kind of bullshit that he wouldn't let you trade the other pieces.
That's the problem.
That'd be like if you made a trade on Friday.
And I was even content with it at first. I wasn't happy at first. But it's like, okay, now my only player that I have is not going to play. Carlos Hyde was my only running back, and he was inactive. So it's like, I don't even have another, it's not like, hey, well, you've got this option. I don't have another option. I'm fucking handcuffed to all of this, and you're just going to watch me fucking drown. And when I ask you, hey, can I do anything different? It's no. But it's Sully fucking drops Devonta Freeman, a guy who's got 4 points in fucking 7 weeks, and I pick him up with the first overall pick. Nope. Oh, okay, so you don't think that I wouldn't have used that pick on another person that week? No? Wouldn't have? Because he changed it the following week, so that was good. I was at the bottom of the barrel, couldn't pick up anybody. So that's 3 weeks in a row I've been fucking dicked around, and it's pissing me off. Because I feel like it only happens to me. But maybe I feel that way because I'm the only one who yells about it. Because I get all fired up about it. Because people like to see me fired up for some reason. Anyways.
Are you good?
What were you going to do?
I'm just saying, I mean, it's,
What is this?
I understand your frustration.
I know. I didn't read the thing.
But he never fixed it.
Oh, what?
That was pointed out that you were moved to the bottom of the waiver wire, and it should have been fixed ahead of time.
It was fixed the next week.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why?
Because, well, bring it back. Well, the point is that I would have fucking used that pick on somebody else.
Of course.
So it's like, okay, well, hey, had I known, Don, don't pick that guy up, or hey, Don, you get whoever else you want. Maybe you get a little help that way. But instead it's, nope, my pick's gone for the week. And then next week, hey, could I get a little help? No, Don, fuck you. You're supposed to be a genius at this. Well, I'm just fucked. I've gotten the long end, and it's fucking just, it's disgusting. I'm just fucking, whatever.
Well, hey, since I'm here, let's have a shot of whiskey.
Yeah.
I guess we could welcome in our guest for the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Been quiet for too long.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, fellas.
Thank you for bringing some whiskey. Cheers.
Gotta top up the barrel.
Oh, I like that. So, for those who are wondering, the third voice that you could hear, we got old Sul. We got Team Mother Tucker, Chris Sullivan, candidate for Father of the Year.
Front runner, some would say.
Some would say. Oh, always in the running.
Always, yeah.
Always.
One of the top nominees.
Yeah, for sure.
There's definitely someone at the bottom of that list, but Sal's in the running.
Yeah.
Happy to be running.
Yeah.
Absolutely. After the recent mayoral candidates, we're all really invested.
Did you vote?
I did indeed.
Who'd you vote for? Your Poco district.
Yeah. So it doesn't even really matter. Some young guy.
Yeah.
He won. So, I'm on the wagon, on the bandwagon.
I like that.
Yeah.
You can't complain if you don't vote.
You ride with winners.
Yeah.
That's why he's here.
Yeah, a couple winners.
I had a sign in my yard and everything. I was
really?
Oh,
You were repping.
You're a full supporter.
Yeah.
Did he come and say hi?
It was for city council. Yeah, it was my wife's mom's family friend. He's a good.
What's his name?
His name's let's not get into politics.
Okay. I was interested.
Well, Don's very into politics.
I'm
We have a
always
lot of
in-
listeners out here. I don't want people showing up at my house.
The problem is that ever since Corey's boy Brett Kavanaugh got elected into the Supreme
that's
Court,
always a touchy subject.
into the Supreme Court, he hasn't wanted to get controversial because he feels that he's winning, #winning, and that's it. So we're not allowed to dive deep.
Well,
He's sick of me complaining about losing.
it's the beauty of America.
So, you know what the beauty of a lot of things is that we opened the phones. I sent out the first, hey, let's get some messages in here.
Roughly 9.5 hours ago.
Yeah, I think it was around 1:30 when you told me, get them open, let's do this. And
I responded.
Yeah, you're here.
I showed up.
You showed up in person. Yeah.
Yeah.
you-
As I
Speak of
talk
the
that
devil.
shit, as I talk that good.
Welcome.
Amit Gajar, welcome to the Whiskey Barrel Podcast.
Thanks, fellas. How you doing?
Doing very well. How are you, sir?
Oh, pretty good. Not too bad, man.
What's going on?
Not a whole lot. I thought I'd give you guys a little bit of a buzz. I guess I've been kind of silent all season, so I thought I'd speak up.
I like that. Not your ears must have been burning, but everybody in the league, because I was just complaining about a little bit of lack of effort from the rest of the league, and the phone literally rang. When you re-listen to this, you'll get the irony of the timing. It's pretty good.
Fair enough.
What do you want to talk about? How do you feel about your team?
Hey, it's I'm pretty happy about the win. I barely got by with the skin of my teeth against Brad, but
I believe he won by 7 yards.
It was something else. I was gonna be pretty embarrassed if I lost that to Tevin Coleman versus a kicker. So, pretty happy to bounce back on that. It was ironic. I kind of swiped Gostkowski off of him, and if he beat me with a kicker, it would have been ironic. But I pulled through.
Yes, that would be ironic. But Gostkowski had a fine game with 8 points. And Coleman had himself a nice little game there too.
Yeah, absolutely. It worked out, so it wasn't too bad.
How did it feel going up against Brad? Were you torn? Was it bittersweet? Did you feel like you needed to make a statement of your own?
It's hard to make a statement by winning with 0.07 points. But a win's a win. I just texted back and forth with him there, and at the end of the day, I came out on top, and I was happy. And you know what? Got pretty lucky because he had a lot of bye weeks. Had he not, I would have got my ass kicked.
Now, I mean, speaking of bye weeks, or you play one half of the Fantasy Gurus next week, and you got a little bit of bye issues yourself. What's your confidence level next week?
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting go. I think I got a ton of guys on a bye week, and you know what? I really don't know because it's kind of been all over the place for me this year. It's hit and miss all season. So
you're really ride and die with Zeke pretty much, right? If he's going, your team's looking okay because AJ Green's done well, Diggs has been fine, Brady's been good, and it's all Zeke's kind of been up and down.
Yeah, he's all over the place. It's been a little bit frustrating to say the least. So is Stephon Diggs, but you can't really say much about that. He's been all over the place, but I'm happy that AJ Green's been solid. I've had a lot of trade offers for him, and it's been hard to part ways with a guy that's been so consistent.
And this is kind of the first year that he's had that consistency. He's always kind of a 30 points, 4 points, 30 points, 4. So he's always in the top.
He's a boomer bust kind of guy.
Yeah, he's always in the top 10 at the end of the season. So you're always like, oh, that's a top 8 wide receiver. But from week to week, you can never call him. But this year, he's actually been pretty consistent. He's been very Julio Jones-esque this year, except he's scored a couple touchdowns.
Except Julio Jones has not been Julio Jones.
Oh, God. I've got the bounty hunters this week. So you got any questions for the Gurus, or are you just calling to make some noise?
Calling to make some noise, say hello, and say I'm still here. I'm just I'm in the shadows, but always listening.
Okay. Well, we love to hear from you. And how do you feel about your matchup coming up? You think you're gonna, even with Zeke out, you think you got a chance to take out 86 Rodrigo?
Gonna be tough, man. When your WR2 or your running back 2 Smallwood, it's gonna be a tough weekend. So
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
That's what I like to hear, Amit. I like to hear defeat in my opponent's voices before the week's even started. So I appreciate the well wishes, and I'll see you. I'll meet you at 4-3 or 4-4.
Sounds good, buddy. We'll see you.
Thanks for calling in, pal. We really appreciate it very much.
Cheers, man.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
His ears were burning, hey, because he...
That was immediate.
Right as soon as he...
That was pretty
Couldn't
crazy.
have been better.
That
We
was
couldn't have
pretty
orchestrated
crazy.
that to have happened better.
Yeah, that was good. I was pretty happy with that. But so when we put out the bat signal and we said, you know what, we need some action here, you showed up.
Yeah, I've been the epicenter of a bit of controversy as well this year, so I figured it was time to poke my head out.
Okay,
as well.
So what do you want to talk about? What's going on?
How's the team, so? What are your thoughts? What are you thinking? We're halfway through.
Team's nice. This year I was unable to make the draft for the first year, and I was a little upset.
And no
about
fault,
that,
no one blames you.
It was.
we took a little smoke, but it was nothing not to be expected. But I was happy with the team the boys delivered.
If you
for the
can't
most
draft
part.
on your wedding day, I mean, it is what it is.
It is
tough.
These things happen.
If there's one time it's okay to not be there, it is when you're celebrating getting married.
However, I do understand There was a draft on my wedding day, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, yes, there was. There is a Team Sully league. Oh,
There's an entire league.
there's an
that
entire
was
league.
formed
Yes.
at my consummation.
Yes,
marriage.
so while there was a little bit of, not an intermission as it were, but it was after dinner and before like dances and whatever, a couple of us boys got together. We formed what is known as the Team Sully Wedding League.
So as long as I was at one draft.
Yes, so, yeah.
You were present.
I
And,
was at a draft.
and I will let you know, because see, you feel my smile?
Yeah, now you're happy.
Because
The mood got lighter.
because in that league, I just played Chris Collins.
Yeah.
Chris Collins, who I booted from our league years and
Many
years ago. And great guy, but just wasn't,
Not league material.
Not up
moved-
to snuff.
He moved to Kelowna.
Yeah.
And me and him are the two best teams in that league. He was undefeated. I have one loss, and I put the boots to him last week.
Someone's O.
So now you're
That's
in.
got to go.
Somebody's had to go. It was great. But yeah, so I'm riding high. I'm first overall in that one. And I could talk about that one for days. My team's ridiculous. It's Melvin Gordon, Aaron Rodgers, AJ Green, Odell Beckham.
Small league, though.
Yeah, but
That's less gentlemen.
everybody's team's good. My
Yeah,
team's just
that's-
like I dropped Andrew Luck because I was
Yeah.
like, I'm never
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
start him, and I just got rid of him. So that's what we're looking at there. So you got no defense. So what's the
Sol's
game
got
plan here?
Apocalypse.
And-
Oh, yeah. I had a few...
Sol's got Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley, Amari Cooper, and Ito Smith on bye.
Yeah, Jesus Christ! I wish I was playing you this week, Sol. Instead, I'm playing Nightingales, who's gonna.
It's true. Either way, this year I happen to be the black hole where fantasy points go to die. So if you're playing me, really don't expect to score any points or to have many points scored
Sol's
against
the
me.
defensive team of he's the Ravens of the league.
Yeah, if we're winning, we're squeaking.
Yeah.
That's why I keep some hairs on my chinny chin chin.
Sanders has been nice for you. He's
Finally, yeah. I've had him on my team many years.
Number
the
three.
number 3 wide receiver this year,
He's,
so that's been very nice for you.
He's showing up for sure.
But what happened to your boy Larry Fitz? Is it finally his time?
Yeah.
Is Father Time finally caught up and tapped him on the shoulder and said, Larry, you've been great.
Yeah, it was
time
funny.
to
It was
go.
funny to see him pop up on my team again this year.
It shouldn't have been no surprise when everyone else was drafting for you.
Yeah, I've joked many times in the past though. It happens to be any time he's not on my team, he has an exceptional year. So you can look back at the blips. I'm sure we have Google documents. You can track his progress.
When he plays for Sully, I blame the coaching then.
Yeah,
The
so-
GM.
If we want to retire Larry Fitzgerald, I'll go ahead. I'll draft him next year, and we'll just see what happens. But beyond that, he's on the bench, and he had a half decent week last week. He's
10
not,
points?
Yeah, he's not. Where is he sitting?
Number 67. So
Yeah.
squint a
Welcome
little
to
harder
Dumpsville.
there.
He's close to Dumpsville, but when your whole team's on a bye, I mean, you slide him in there as a flex player.
Yeah, there's nothing you
And
can.
I got a couple guys I'm waiting on waivers. You know, I don't want to say anything because I don't really know what spot I'm at the moment. So you don't want anyone to jump ahead of me.
Are you going to drop Devonta Freeman, or are you keeping him on the IR spot just to spite me? What's happening there?
Honestly, I just feel it would be the talk of the town if I dropped him again. So
Yeah.
I just at this point I'm just gonna stash him for a week
Yeah.
or
He's
two.
gonna hold on to him for a
Just-
couple
yeah,
weeks
yeah.
and then just slide him in when no one's watching.
yeah.
There's no way to just kind of quietly tuck him under the
Oh,
rug at this point.
Just
in time,
some Friday morning. Just
Yeah,
slowly
yeah.
nip him in there.
That is honest. That's honest to God truth there.
You're just trying gamesmanship.
Got too much shame to let him go.
Yeah, well, okay, well, there you go.
There'd
Sorry
be two
about
threats
that.
fired up again in a heartbeat.
So, you want to talk about the controversy? Do you want to talk about what happened?
Yeah, I got nothing to hide, man.
I don't think you do, and I understand from your point of view. So, everybody listening should know what's happened, but Sully meant to drop Jay Ajayi, correct?
I did. He blew his knee out, and
Yeah.
he's done for the season.
And instead, you dropped Devonta Freeman, then you dropped Jay Ajayi.
Like, I realized what I had done.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that I had dropped the wrong player and that I couldn't just go pick him up again immediately.
Right.
Realized I was hooped. I was meaning to drop Jay Ajayi anyways, so
Yeah.
so I dumped him immediately after, well in the process of texting our commissioner and trying to get that ball rolling.
Yeah.
And it took a little longer than I had hoped. And I was willing to take any decision made at that point. I was willing to be a gentleman in a gambler's league and
Yeah.
accept the fate of the man at the top, and he was gracious enough to lean in my direction, and it just happened to take a little more time and cause a little more of a fuss than any of us had have.
So my question to that is, when you have to go through at least 3 hoops to drop a guy, how did you end up doing that? The question is, when you have to drop, then confirm the drop, how did you just hit the wrong and then never read again?
Well, it's really more of like a double tap kind of situation. You see, like you select the. I do it all on my cell phone.
Okay, because that was.
So I don't have a laptop.
Because it's not just maybe this, like, that was my kind of, if there was one thing, because I wasn't even, I get that you fucked up. I totally understand that you made a mistake. I don't think you intentionally did it. My problem was, well, if we're gambling, that's like you going, I meant to put it on 16 black.
No, I heard. Yeah, I understand, like, the perspective.
Yeah.
Just,
Was it at 3:30 in the morning? And what?
It was like 12:28. It was after a long day's work. It was, all the excuses you want to hear.
Yeah, I want to hear them. I want to hear them.
It is, man.
What I'll ask you, Don, is you go up to the dealer and you say, I want a 4 on red.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I said 14. He said, no, you said 4. I said 14. And then you go, can we ask the pit boss?
Yeah.
And he goes, okay. And then you ask the pit boss, and the pit boss says, this is the decision. And he moves it to 14. We stick with that. So Saul made a mistake.
Yeah.
And he went to the top of the league, the highest up he could, the owner, the commish, and said, hey, I made a mistake. Would you be able to fix it for me? And the commish did. So this decision rides on the commish. It doesn't ride on Saul. I
know. That's why I wasn't...
You would do everything in your power to right your wrong if you could, even if maybe you knew you were wrong, but you could still benefit from it.
So, okay, sorry. Say that again. I would do everything...
You put money down on 14.
Right.
And it goes on 4, and you're like, no, I said 4, not 14.
Yeah.
And you have a chance to get money, you would definitely be doing that.
Oh, got it. Like if I was the guy gambling.
Yeah, of course.
If I was the Sully in the situation. Oh, of course. I'm not. No, that's not Sully's fault.
So the blame lies with the commish.
And it wasn't even that much blame. He tried to right the wrong by putting me to the top of the waiver order. Actually, I didn't even go back to the top. I went to second, which is fine, which is what I requested anyway, so that's okay, because I didn't want to be that guy. And we've got Kurt who wants to quit, getting so mad. Anyways, I didn't want to upset him, so I went back to second. But it was the following week. So if I'm mad at anything, it is just that situation. There was no, Don, okay, who else would you have picked?
We need some promptness from the commission.
What was your other option? Because I didn't get option number 2 either, which I would have gotten. So, or I would have looked at.
Right.
That I would have explored.
Yep.
So if I'm annoyed at anything, it's just the promptness.
I feel your pain 100%. I totally understand where you're coming from.
Right? Like, I've got first on waivers. Holy shit. I guess Sully's just done with dealing with him with his injuries. I'm taking him.
Totally.
And then it's, and then when you said, there's threads about it, I'm like, well, I didn't know. Like, well, fuck. Like, and then it's already 2 days too late. And it's okay.
And to elaborate on what you guys were saying about him, like being a first round pick and whatever, I don't know. For some reason, I just hold an extreme value to that.
Sure.
And him being just the name, like obviously everyone falls for that play.
Yeah.
Just hoping he's going to do the bounce back and just be the Devontae Freeman you really hope he's going to be.
Yeah.
Now.
So and then he goes and gets hurt, and it makes everything all the more awkward.
The more muddy.
That's my last question to kind of wrap this up and put this to bed, and then we can move on from it. Do you feel in any way guilty that you've brought this issue on, and because you brought this issue on, he blew up and now he's dead? I feel like a part of that is karma, and it's your fault, Saul, that Devonta Freeman no longer can play.
Like
football.
a Larry Fitzgerald type situation.
It's kind of like you're a bit of a fantasy.
I'm
You're a bit of a fantasy reaper.
Like I'm a certain popular video game with a cover to be had.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So
and anytime I feature a gentleman.
Do you or do you not feel guilty that you ruined Devonta Freeman's career?
Yeah, I don't know.
By your transgressions.
Yeah, I hope
your transgressions.
I hope there's not too many fans of the red and black coming to my town, knocking on my door. But,
I'm a bit of an aviary. If you
like birds, as far as I know. Yeah.
You're
a bird
guy.
One
of those things.
You're an absolute bird guy.
You're a bird guy.
speaking on the league, we do have one submission into the inbox. If you'd like to get into that before we get into this week's matchups,
Oh.
or we'll get on.
Oh, here we
coming
go.
in.
Yeah, I was expecting this one.
Here we go. And here he is, champ himself. 7-0. The reigning, defending Corey Nightingale. Thanks for calling in. You're on the Whiskey Barrel Podcast. How are you, sir?
Good evening, gentlemen. Doing very well, thanks. How are you guys doing?
Well, I'm not as good as you.
God, he sounds great, eh?
I'm not.
We could all be putting up 900 points, but
Oh, it feels good. It's been a good start to the season, and I'm not getting too ahead of myself either. All you got to do is get into the dance and then see what happens there, right? So, but I'm on my way. I think probably one more win would seal the playoffs for me. So that's what we're just taking it one game at a time.
Well, you're playing me, so you're probably locked that win in, so don't worry about that.
Well, I think you got Julio on a bye as well, don't you?
No, Julio is traded away.
Oh,
My
that's
whole
gone. Yeah, no,
fucking-
sorry. You got Fournette just waiting to get his crack.
I got Matt Ryan, who I just traded for to try to get more points on a bye.
That's right, Matty Ice. Yeah.
Yeah, so my team is just in goddamn shambles. I don't want to talk about my team right now. Let's talk about your team. Do you realize we just did the math? You are 150 points more than the next team.
That's another week. That's another week. That's another really good week.
And what do you owe this all to? Like, what do you feel? Like, how do you feel? Like, what's going on?
Well, I think that it all starts at draft day.
Yeah, you kept the right.
It starts and ends in draft day, but it doesn't end there. But you gotta hit on that mid to late part of the draft. Is that's where you find your guys, and that's where the real bulk of your team is going to get made up. And it leads me into another point that I'd love to talk to you guys about.
Please, whatever you'd like to talk about.
Talking about keepers.
Yes.
Talking about keepers.
Did you listen to the last podcast where I brought it up?
I listened to the last podcast. There's some ideas thrown out there. Some of them ludicrous. Some of them with a little bit of weight to them. But it's definitely something that we can talk about. And I think that it would be great if we could maybe get together, say, an American Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Have all 12 teams represented by all their managers, and we can hash this thing out the way that we should, and like the men that we are. And but I definitely got a couple points to talk about, a couple points to refute from episode 2's podcast.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you want.
Couple things.
The floor is yours,
there.
pal.
Well, and we were talking about drafting before, and this is where one of my points come in, where I think we're trying to reinvent the wheel right now with our keeper system, and we got to take it. There's a lot of good things going on about it. We're hearing a lot of things like you get Todd Gurley, and then you get to keep him on your team for however many weeks, but it's a 2-year contract that we're talking about, right? That's why we came up with that rule.
Basically.
So that helps. But here's something that we need to look at, and it's what I like to call the Nightingale model.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Or we could also call it the championship model.
Oh, I like that.
It's not.
And it's been out there. It's nothing new.
Mm-hmm.
We've all, Don, you've used this model to get yourself to a championship.
Sure.
And I'm talking about drafting. So when you're drafting, I didn't draft Todd Gurley last year, but you know what I did do? Drafted a bunch of guys that I was able to turn into Todd Gurley.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right. Okay. I feel like you're playing 4D chess.
So you're saying you like the keeper? You're saying you're able to parlay guys into a keeper, and that's something you enjoy, and that's what's about to win you another championship in your.
Is that what you're saying? Like what do you mean? Like you talking about? You meaning drafting as keepers too? What's happening here?
Well, no. What I'm saying is that if you we're talking about, so the past couple podcasts we were talking about luck versus management skills.
Sure.
And I believe the term falling ass backwards into a championship was thrown out there. And we want to reward the GMs who are good managers, with the management skill, and who are good at drafting. So when you draft players on your team, like you might not have a Todd Gurley on your team, Well, so what? Go out there, draft the next couple guys. Draft you into 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th round and beyond.
Yeah.
Draft guys that are going to go out there. You're going to be able to find some value in them.
Right.
And then mid-season, you could take advantage of that guy who maybe he did keep Todd Gurley or he did keep a Lev Bell or whoever else.
Right.
And you can parlay that into one of those players. Now, that's great management skills, in my opinion. And then the next year, you get him for 1 year, the year after.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Then he goes back in the pool, and then the whole thing restarts.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. So if you did listen to last week, that's where I admit that I fucked up because I have not taken advantage, but it's been a strategy that I do use. I consolidate. That is a strategy that I usually use. I have a plethora of running backs or whatever it is, and then turn that 4th, 5th, 6th round pick into a second. And that's how you get the Kareem Hunts of the world, for example.
The 2, 3 for 1
right
trades.
And
somebody needs
and
diversity, and you need a keeper.
And we've kind of taken that away. Like I regret voting against getting rid of keepers because
that's why I like keepers. It's because
there is
forms
that
a different
extra
type of
there's
league.
that extra layer there is that. Well,
you gotta think a little more.
I'm swinging for the fences, but so I'm either trying to win really big this year, or at least next year will look all right just to get us started.
And also, it keeps you from just selling the house and not caring.
Yes,
That's not true.
To me, it does.
Because there's people that will sell the house just to get one keeper.
That's the other side of the coin. But in that same regard, that's why you have a commissioner.
Yeah,
You have push
exactly.
trades through that are only reasonable.
And then we just start arguing about trades, and this is why the keeper rule came into effect, because there were so many arguments about people trading guys that were hurt and people trading their entire team for one player and skewing the playoffs. So that's why the keeper rule came into a conversation, and that's why we wanted to kind of stop it, full stop. To have these kind of discussions, start new, and come up with a new rule that kind of makes sense for everybody, whether that's not being able to trade hurt guys, not being able to trade so many multiples, sell your whole team for one player, not being able to
especially the
stack
closer
the
you
box.
get to the playoffs,
Of course.
right? It starts to matter a little more.
Yeah.
I think if you want to change anything, in my opinion, change down to one keeper, perhaps.
Corey,
But I like the keeper.
Corey, go ahead. You had something to say there?
Well, I don't mind having, with the 2 keepers because it's burning up your top 2 draft picks. So you better hit on your keepers,
Exactly.
and that's that's a big
players,
part of
or
it too.
anyone.
Is you're taking a risk.
Good point.
But and another thing too is when we're talking about so now we get rid of keepers, so now everyone's back in the player pool. So one of the quotes from a couple podcasts ago was, "I was so shitty, I just get to draft Todd Gurley now." Well, now that there's no keepers. I mean, we do have the consolation bracket, which incentivizes people out of the playoffs to go for those last couple wins, and then you can end up with a first draft pick. But we're still almost rewarding people for not making the playoffs with an opportunity to end up with a Todd Gurley on your team. Whereas when you've got the keepers, it gives people the opportunity to draft depth on your team, find those good value guys in the middle and end of the draft, and make a move. Make a move for a top guy. Make a move for a Todd Gurley or a Lev Bell, or even sell an Alvin Kamara to a guy who might keep him the next year for 2 wide receivers just to make it through, because you've only got 2 games left. So that's a trade that you can even look at, and it makes you look at it even more because you're like, oh, well, Alvin Kamara, I can keep him for the next year.
That's the strategy I like. That's I think we're on the same page here, Nightingale.
I mean, I agree that we're gonna look at it and we'll talk about it, and there's some reworking, and I'm open to that too. I'm not saying that I'm not like 100% all in for the way that we got it now, although I think that we had a system that works pretty well. But let's talk about it.
Okay.
And yeah.
Okay, so now, do you want to stay on keepers, or did you have something else that you wanted to add? Because I have a couple things to add to what you said.
Well, go ahead and hit me. I was going to talk about there's another thing, falling ass backwards into Patrick Mahomes, which has been, my guy for the year. Is part of the reason I've got the most points for it. I'm sitting 7-0.
Yeah.
And just wanted to list off the quarterbacks that went off before Patrick Mahomes, who I believe in the 7th round. So all the quarterbacks before that was Aaron Rodgers.
Mahomes was 8. Yeah, round 8.
He was round 8. So Rodgers, Deshaun, Cam Newton, Tom Brady, Breeze, Kirk Cousins all went before Patrick Mahomes. So, that's just a manager looking at his team, looking at a guy and saying, this guy's going to be a stud this year, and just putting it out there and just going for it. And now reaping the benefits for that.
It's reaping.
Reaping. Did I say reaping?
Yeah.
Cell reception out here is just
when we do talk about draft position and draft rounds, you mentioned it's not won or lost at the draft, but it's in those middle to late rounds where you really find your niche and you really pick up the good players, right?
That's right.
From the start of your phone call. So just to run you down here, rounds 5 through 16, I just want to just to follow up on what you said, because you're such a great GM. We'll roll. We can go from round 4 actually. Mark Ingram, Marlon Mack, Marvin Jones, D.D. Westbrook. Yes, you hit Pat Mahomes, Latavius Murray, Ricky Seals-Jones, Giovanni Bernard, Kelvin Benjamin, and Dan Bailey. So I'm just trying to understand why you say something one way but draft a different way.
Well, I'm a man of opportunity, right? And if you look at, I haven't made a trade this year, but the year before is primarily what we're talking about, how I acquired Gurley and how I fell ass backwards into, if you're shitty and then you just end up with Todd Gurley on your team. Well, that just wasn't the case because I was able to draft in last year's draft. Now, this year's draft's a little different, but at the same time, too, that's why you got to be on the waiver wire, looking at matchups, looking at injury reports, and just being an overall good GM. And at the end of the day, when you're 7-0 and 150 points more than anyone else in the league, then I guess you can say things like that.
Okay, so I just to kind of sum it up, you don't think it's won in the middle and late rounds, judging by the way you drafted. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what round was Pat Mahomes taken in? I think he was somewhere in the middle there, I believe.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to hit on one or two guys, right?
Okay, that was what I was getting at. Yeah, take some risk and get rewarded for sure.
But at the same time, too, now if we kind of think about the keeper rule and then go, okay, so let's say next year I'll keep Pat Mahomes in the 8th round. Mm-hmm. Well, do you think is that really fair to the rest of the guys in the league?
I think that's fair to the GM who drafted him high enough, and now he gets rewarded for being a good drafter and a good GM.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
That's what incentivizes someone to keep Kenny Golladay in the 14th, because that's great value for that kind of player, rather than just, let's just keep Lev Bell and Saquon Barkley and all the top names, because it's just boring that way, is what I find. I
understand that, but that's why we've got the 2-year contract. After 2 years, they're back in the pool.
I could have kept Melvin Gordon this year, but I've had him on different teams and in different leagues many times, and it's like I want a new team, so I let him back into the pool, and I ended up drafting Saquon. So there's something to be said for just kind of having new players and refreshing and letting the studs fall where they may, and then really focusing the GMs on drafting well and making good pickups and add drops.
I totally agree with you, and I don't think I kept a single player the 3 years previous to that, and started fresh, started anew, and
yes.
did pretty decent a couple of years back and pretty good last year. So it's personal preference, and it's it gives the option to the GMs, but at the same time, it's that 2-year contract that I think is why we put the rule in place, is to avoid teams having Todd Gurley for any more period of time than just 2 years.
Yep.
But
agreed.
Either way, we'll talk about it. We'll hash it out. We'll see what everyone else thinks, and we'll pretty much go from there.
Okay, so are we? Can I put my 2 cents in here?
Please.
Okay, so I got 3 things. Number 1, it does sound. I will just say it does sound a bit rich coming from a guy with Todd Gurley and Michael Thomas and Tyreek Hill to get on here to start talking about wanting to get keepers back. I'm just saying it's a little.
But I couldn't keep Gurley anyways. His contract's up.
Okay. Well, okay.
So he's going back. He's going back in the pool anyways.
Okay. Well, then that's fine. I'm just saying.
And if I want to keep Tyreek Hill in the first round, I wouldn't. But if I wanted to, I guess that's on me. You live or die by the keeper rule, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm just saying it's a little transparent that that's your biggest argument you want to do right now. right?
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, and that's fine, and that's okay. You're arguing in your best interest. It's people who argue against their best interests. I don't understand. Okay, number 2 is, are you suggesting that at American Thanksgiving, if we can all get together, you want to rework the keeper rule hypothetically maybe for this year?
No, it would have to be. We've already voted on it, so there's no keepers next year. There's no going back on that.
Okay, great.
I
Okay.
mean, I'm a man who holds this league in pretty high regard.
Right.
And I'd like to respect the integrity of this league
Sure.
by respecting the vote.
Yep.
We live in a democratic system, which is well represented in our fantasy football league, and I'm willing to abide by that. But I think it's more fair if we get, everyone together to sit down and talk about what is the real interest of the future in this league, and what do we want out of this league, and have everyone there instead of this, kind of bullshit rules committee that was somehow created in the off season when we only have 12 teams in the league, and for some reason we need 6 or however many people to, behind closed doors. It sounds a little corrupt to me. Is also, I'd rather get everyone together, get everyone's 2 cents in, and respect the democratic process.
Okay, well, would you like me to touch on that? Because we could. Okay, hold on.
Just briefly, Corey, there is a thread that has been started on the message board for anyone and everyone to post rule thoughts, rule changes, keeper thoughts. So that's open to everyone. It was posted, I think, a week ago.
Yep.
And
no
one's responded yet, but we hope that over the course of the year people do voice their opinions and things that we can discuss, because it is a league that we want rules to be discussed amongst all GMs, not just a few.
Nope, absolutely. Well, I figured I'd
So I hope to see
sort of you guys a phone call instead of hiding behind a message board
absolutely,
some other GMs.
But put pen to paper so we can actually have some hard stuff to look at and have everyone's ideas written
Right,
down.
which is how the rules committee was formed. It was, who wants to vote on new rules, put the rules forward, let's do it. And 5 of us talked about stuff, and everybody else was moot. And maybe that got lost in translation for you, but there's nothing. Anyways, I take that as a slight. But the third thing is, who shit talked you? Was it me or was it Corey?
Oh, I mean, there's no.
No, the ass backwards thing. You're very hot about this, and I'm trying to think if you're yelling at me or if you're yelling at Sayers. I don't know what happened here.
Hey, it's no slight against you guys. I love the podcast. I'm a weekly listener. I tune in. I get excited about it.
Well, the thing is that you should take it as flattery, right? Like, if we talk about you, there's probably a reason we're talking about you. It's the guys that listen then get upset that we talk about them because we take a couple sideways shots. It's like, start your own fucking podcast and shit on me. I shit on myself for the first 10 minutes of this podcast.
which is great, and there's no major offense taken. I just wanted to clear up some points just about how I came to acquire Todd Gurley, and really how the championship came to me and how I became the champion. And it was through pretty much just being a great manager, making trades, drafting well, and staying in it and being the champ.
Yeah.
Are you going wire to
you
wire,
gotta make
Corey?
moves, but it's not. There was no luck involved in me acquiring Todd Gurley or Lev Bell. These were moves that were made during the season.
Yeah.
Corey, are you going wire to wire? Do you have any fear of not winning this year?
Of course, absolutely. But you have to live with the fear. The fear inspires me.
That's
the fear
awesome.
keeps me going.
Well said.
You need a little bit of fear.
I like it. Thanks, buddy. We appreciate the phone call. We always love hearing from the champ.
Oh yeah, great show so far, guys, and I'll be tuning in.
Sounds good, pal.
See you, pal. Talk to you later.
Take care, guys.
Bye. That was great. That was great stuff.
It's good to hear from the champ.
It is. It's always good to hear from the champ. That's the point. Champ should weigh in.
So his issue with the rules committee, and he believes in corruption. There's no such thing. There was 5 of us getting together to talk about rules and suggest things that could be voted on at the draft.
Yes, that's what that was.
Pretty much. Let's come up, because no one else would come up with ideas.
Like a think tank.
It was a think tank.
That's exactly
and everything that we talked about at this meeting we talked about at the draft, and it was an open vote to everybody.
I
So
expect a good think tank.
Yeah, and who knows? He fell ass backwards into fucking Todd Gurley. So who
100%.
gives a fuck?
and when he gets knocked out in the first round this year, he's going to take his $150 for most points, and he'll be fine. But
Yeah, he's already won that.
Yeah, he's got that
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
kid.
150 points.
I like that he was humble, but still had
He
some
had,
vitriol, a little
yeah.
venom.
You know what?
Well spoken.
Yeah.
That makes it easy.
Everybody is always just one knee injury away.
Well, I'm looking at his team who I'm playing next week, and I might as well just bench my entire squad.
My first 2 running backs blew their knees out this year.
Oh, God.
That's why Freeman's out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, foot and hip.
It's everything.
He's had a knee
And
already
groin.
this year.
And a knee.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's had everything.
We're going to take a quick pause, refresh the beverages. We'll be right back. All right, back at it. We'll finish up on the champ. He came to me actually this week looking for Saquon.
The gentleman has
Okay.
poured us shots of whiskey.
Another shot of whiskey for the whiskey barrelers.
It's Irish whiskey.
Great to have you in studio, Salt.
Absolutely.
Always a pleasure. Our first guest in studio this week. Anybody else that wants to come on?
I heard somebody complain that wanted you to talk about whiskey, so figured I'd bring a bottle, try to spark the situation.
Yeah. It's smooth.
It's not bad.
Okay.
So Nightingale came after me for Saquon this week
Okay. Are we talking? Okay, go ahead. Continue.
because we're talking trades.
Got it.
Offers me Ingram and Breida.
For Saquon.
Saquon.
Okay.
And I looked at his team and I said, okay, I know what this is going to take, but I'm not going to send him an offer back.
Okay.
I'm not going to counter. I'm just going to send him a quick text message, which was Saquon. The conversation over Saquon starts with Tyreek plus, or it doesn't start.
Okay. Fair.
Nothing back.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
That's fine.
If
That's the start of a discussion.
If you're going to trade a top 3 running back, you expect a top wide receiver and then probably another running back,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So looking at his team,
Okay. So now are we gonna do that?
No,
I'd
we do.
happily play this game. I love playing this.
so he offered me Ingram and Burita, and I declined,
Right.
of course.
Of course you did.
So where do you go then? What do you trade Saquon to? Saquon's number 2 or 3 this right now.
Don't trade him to Team Nightingale.
I don't care about who I trade him to because I want to make my team better. I don't care if I'm making somebody else's team better. Look at Nightingale's roster. What do you trade Saquon for?
What else?
What do you need?
Yeah.
Do you have a need? Do you have a hole that you'd like to fill?
Saquon's my best
You
player.
just want to hear some names.
Saquon's my best player. I got Landry,
Tyreek Hill. I love Tyreek Hill.
Alshon and Edelman, and I've
Fastest man in the league by
got
far.
Saquon and Kerryon Johnson.
I would trade. Here, I already got it. I'll give Saquon Barkley, Julian Edelman for Michael Thomas and Tyreek Hill.
That's exactly what I was just gonna say. I would do that trade all day.
I need a running back coming back.
Don't worry about running backs. Oh, do you?
I need one. Sorry, that leaves me with Jordan Howard and Kerryon Johnson.
Okay.
Okay, and let him throw in Latavius Murray.
Yeah, 3 for 1. You probably wouldn't get that.
No, it's 3 for 2 because you sent
3 for 2.
the other way.
Okay.
So his team is now. It is Edelman and Marvin Jones, but then he's starting Saquon and Todd Gurley and Ingram.
But do you think at that point your team has improved enough to perhaps just go to the waiver wire and fill that running back spot?
There's not enough on the waiver wire.
That's why.
the
That's why the value of a stud running back a top 5 running back will get you a number 1 wide receiver plus.
Yeah, 'cause
Every day of the
typically
week.
there's like 2 guys in the league that you can go 3 for 1.
Yeah.
2 for 1 is like that's a big trade. That's a big player.
Yeah.
3 for 1, and Todd Gurley, he's in the conversation for that all day long.
Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted. So
you got some bad trades to talk about there, Don.
No, it's not bad traits to talk about. It's just I don't understand how Paul offered me Corey Clement and I don't know Corey Clement and like fill in waiver wire running back for DeAndre Hopkins.
I think Paul was excited about that trade too, and I told him it was never going to fly.
If you want to talk about falling ass backwards into something, let's go to Paul's team. Talk about how he didn't draft his team. For some reason,
He was in Montreal.
For some reason, when Ajayi went down, I went to go see look for Clement on the waiver wire. Oh, and Paul's had him for 6 weeks. He's just been sitting with him on his bench.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, when Hyde got traded, I'm like, where's Chubb on the thing? Oh no, Paul's been sitting with Chubb on his bench forever. Like falling ass backwards into luck. He's just had everybody's handcuff since the start of the year, and then just all the guys that he's needed to get traded or hurt get traded and get hurt. He's been sitting on Chubb and Clement, and he was first on the waiver priority to pick up Philip Lindsay.
Yeah.
Carlos Hyde for a 5th round pick too. Just touch on that real quick. That would sting, I think.
If I was Carlos Hyde?
Yeah.
He's a good running back, too.
But it's a maybe. You just got traded for a maybe in the 5th round. And you're a good running back.
He's just going into a running back by committee now. But
So, yeah, that's a blockbuster trade. There's two ways to look at it from Nightingale's standpoint, though, too. It's not broke. He doesn't need to fix it.
Exactly.
But
you really got to sell him on something.
But resting on your...
He came to me.
He might be the wrong guy to trade with. And I don't know why he's trying to shop.
But resting on...
7-1, 150 points ahead.
Well, he's trying to get Saquon for cheap somehow.
But resting on your laurels is the other way it gets fucking tricky. Yeah. So you got... He's got to kind of look at it going, do I roll Todd Gurley and Saquon Barkley? It's like, well, that's... And he's still, you don't touch Mahomes, you don't touch his Ebron. Like he's got, yeah, you're getting a bit greedy with the wide receivers there, but he's got 3, like, I don't know. Oof, that's big.
That's what, anyway, so what I'm saying is I got that trade offer, which obviously wasn't even close to what needed to come my way for a top running back. So I just sent him a quick text.
I think he's just hoping you're hurting, and he looked at some holes and maybe he could fill, and
maybe
hoped you were Sully that day. But at the same time, we all just talked about that being like the basis of a trade, is like that first kind of not quality offer, but just shake the boat a little bit, see if maybe he's shopping.
That's why I sent him the text. That's why I sent him the text message back saying, "Hey, Saquon starts with Tyreek plus."
No problem with that.
That's one of the problems with if we're gonna get in the nuts and bolts about ESPN is the app. Is like I would love for it to be able to have a message with like it does when you look on the laptop.
Oh, for sure. But send a message with your trade.
But 95% of us, we get it on our phone. So it is just I would love to be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I'm looking for so and so thoughts.
Yeah, I need so and so. I need a running back.
Yeah, but sometimes exactly like this is just an easy. Let's go. This.
I like this guy.
Yeah.
You know, this is the trade that I want to open the door with.
But it's like what else you like? But sometimes you look at it and you go, "Get fucked! I'm not doing that." And then you get people get insulted, and we get insulted a little bit too quick.
And then even if you fire me a good trade, but I'm upset with you, I might just decline that one out of spite.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I know. All too often.
I always go back to the other guy's team and look and see what the key piece is that he wants from my team, and look at his team and see what I can get back.
Yeah. And I think at most, if there was a way to look into trades that were actually made, it wouldn't just be the one trade offered and accepted. Yeah. There's going to be a bit of a back and forth there, and you got to hash out a deal.
Absolutely. When we talk about the GM of the French, he offered me a trade earlier this year. I unfortunately didn't see it till the player was locked on Sunday.
Yeah.
So I let Sunday go over. I resent it to him on Monday. Nothing back.
Yeah.
So he changed his mind within 24 hours.
That reminds me, elaborating on that trade with Kurt as well. The Pierre Garçon for Amari Cooper, that was another epicenter of some quakes in the league. I let that sit until the very last day.
Yeah.
And then I finally realized that was an okay trade. Amari Cooper's not going to start on my squad. Maybe now if he starts going crazy over where he is.
Yeah, how do you feel? Are you happy? Are you sad? Like, how do you feel?
I'm not upset for him. I'm not upset for Oakland.
It's hope.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
That's not on you. That's up to the other GM. He's more than welcome to cancel his trade at any
time. And it sat there for multiple days. And then I even offered Kurt to send him the same trade back just to make it right. Because I had no idea that he was so upset with that until I saw it in a message. No. But I think it was just a bundle of issues that I happened to be involved with at that point in time.
Yeah, and you've just, and no pun intended, but you've just sullied him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I've heard that one before.
Yeah. What else you got, Don?
Well, it's not even, and I don't mean to shit on Paul or call him out, but it's
Well,
just.
apparently we need to start shitting on him because we're being too nice.
Well,
Too nice.
We're being too nice to everybody. I don't know why there's not more moves being made. We're 12 men allowing one man to run roughshod over the league, and by no fault of his own, he's putting up numbers and he's making moves. But if somebody's going to beat the king, like, we're going to need to...
He's not taking that belt off himself.
Yeah, exactly. There is not... Like, we are not going to get lucky here. Like, it's going to... Things are going to need to happen. And I
you notice he brought that thing to your wedding?
Yeah.
That was excellent.
And
That's what we expect of the champions.
Just proud.
Of course. And
just proud. Unlike a former champion who just let it sit on the floor of his house and perhaps
or the other one
lost for
or
a
the other
period
one
of
who
time.
lost,
or the other dual champs who never even touch it.
Yeah.
Or looked at the...
Yeah.
He walked in with
Carted that thing around.
He walked into my wedding
Black tie event.
with a black tie event with the belt, and I said to my wife, I said, "Wow, the belt's here."
The best part about
And she said, "Hold on," and she said, "Oh, Nightingale's here," and I said, "Well, the belt walked in first." Because it did.
It was on his shoulder.
I was proud of it.
Propped up.
I was like,
He didn't even hide it at all.
Love it. I love it. I absolutely love it.
There's well over 100 people there.
112
people in this league.
138, I
This
think.
guy walked in with the belt on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Championship.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. Not even everybody in the league was there, so it doesn't make sense why this
It
idiot
wasn't a joke.
carrying
It wasn't
around
a joke.
a belt. But
That
it's
was
like,
proud-
to
that
me,
was a proud
it was. I didn't say, "Oh, hey, there's Corey." It was the belt just walked in. Oh, Nightingale's here? Nah, the belt walked in first.
Yeah, well, it wasn't your belt at that time.
No, it wasn't, and it was just good to see her. It's just been a minute.
The best part about that whole story is when you sent out the invitations and you received your invitation back from the champ, and in the blank space for his +1, it just said the belt. The belt, we're coming. And so it had its own chair. It was a whole thing. You had to pay for the meal for it, but it was worth the
It's
cost
worth it.
The champ.
just to have it.
I
The
do
champ.
it.
It doesn't matter. The
I
cost.
do it all day long.
It ate its share of bacon. It was fine.
It was absolutely fine.
Do you want to get into the inbox, or do you want to?
I wouldn't mind just talking trade just for one more second,
Okay.
and then we'll end with whatever's in the inbox because you're itching for it.
Well, the box gets itchy sometimes.
Well,
It's never a good thing.
Your figures are always in the inbox. So, now let's take a look at your guys' teams just real quick here. All right, so let's start with you,
It
Sul.
won't take you long, bud. This will be a short, quick look.
Okay, so
It's not a bad picture of Samuel L.
I'm
Jackson.
so proud of it.
See, and the whole play is how Samuel L. says motherfucker all the time.
Yeah,
I don't know if everyone in the league's smart enough to get.
I got it right away.
we
How
talked
did you
about
not
it on
get
the
it?
last-
I'm glad it's enjoyable.
As opposed to Matt Bryant is an okay kicker.
Yeah, Hinton's just an idiot.
Yeah.
Speaking of falling
Well,
ass
the whole ending
backwards
of
into
Terry's Pizzeria
everything.
was enjoyable for a while there, but I think that was more earnest.
Okay, so I know you said that you were hoping for some waiver action, right?
Of course. Well, I clearly am waiting on a defense. Whether I get the one I'm hoping for, I got to put in some other slug.
Well, you're 12th out of 12, so you're last on the wire.
I'm gonna take some time.
So you're probably not
Coming
going
my way tomorrow morning. I'll find out what happens.
You're probably not going to get it. So, what do you need help with? What are you willing to move to get that help?
I need a running back.
Okay.
I need a running back
so
one.
Okay, so to the men of the league, and
Hard.
okay. So what are you willing to give for
Right
what?
now, I would love to shop, let's say, a Keenan Allen and a John Brown.
Okay.
I would sell Calvin Ridley. I know his value is decreasing. I might have lost my chance to pop him when he was hot, but I don't think by any means he's done.
No, I agree.
I think he just needs to start getting a few tugs again, get himself on the other side of the end zone. Bit of a problem there in Atlanta. Sorry, fans of the Birds.
Shots fired.
But other than that, yeah, no, I don't have a player on my squad now that isn't locked down. I've always been a big fan of Emmanuel Sanders. I think he does good work over there up on top of the mountain. But yeah, he's the one I'd like to keep. But
Okay,
if we're talking like a Todd Gurley again, you want to go back to like number one style
I'm
players?
talking-
I wouldn't lock him down in that
I'm
conversation.
talking about a top 10 running back. So are you willing?
I would do like a John Brown, Keenan Allen package for a top 10 running back.
Okay.
And that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that's
Those are 2 top 20 wide receivers.
Allen, well, he's on his bye, so
Yeah, and he's had a bit of an off start, but he's just starting to pick up steam.
So
again.
Keenan,
If you look at his last 2 games, I think he's getting back on track.
Okay, so Keenan Allen, John Brown for a top 12 running back.
Yeah, just
RB1.
Yeah, RB1, right? Maybe even top 20.
Okay.
If I like the name, and
He's a big name guy.
I happen to be a brand name cat, so
Yeah.
I window shopper, you know.
Okay, great. All right, Corey, let's take a look at your squad here. I know we just talked about, but you never know. Where the hell are you?
Right there, buddy.
So, Core, what do you think you need here? You got Carry-On, you got Saquon, Landry, Edelman, Alshon. Okay, so, well, I guess we already talked wide receivers with you. So, to get a better RB2...
You want Keenan Allen, John Brown? Give me Saquon.
Yeah, sure. No, thanks. Yeah, so I got, it's, what's Jalen Richard going to do now that Marshawn's gone? We'll see. Should be the guy there. I've got Njoku while Gronk's dealing with his back pain.
He was the one I missed. I picked up Rudolph last week instead. I was looking at him. He's a big, tough runner.
Yeah.
I like when he's got the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and I've got Jordan Howard as my only running back depth, really. So, I mean, I'm fine with my starters. I could have a little bit more on the bench, but, I mean, when you got Rob Gronk and Jordan Howard on your bench, you're never mad.
Mm-hmm. So would you pair Landry and Edelman up for something?
Yeah. Yeah, I would need a wide receiver for sure coming back.
Okay. All right.
Because that's
Tight
where I'm
end's
at my
been a weird
weakest.
spot this year.
Been terrible, terrible.
Who's been?
Tight
Tight
end.
end.
The whole
tight end.
the whole
The whole
situation.
tight end scope is skewed ridiculously.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Can I
It's
ask?
nice to see not just Rob Gronkowski running the show for once. But,
not as a Patriots fan.
It was
so.
fun to watch him just.
It's still
smash through people.
Gronk, and at any point he can turn
He'll
it
go.
on. And
He'll go. Yeah.
He's gonna play on Monday night, and he's gonna go for 160 and a touchdown.
Yeah, no one's mad.
Just one
Unfortunately, I don't know if I can start him because I have to wait till Monday night to find out if he's healthy.
He doesn't need to be healthy. He's going.
I need to find out.
They're
if
just
he's
gonna
playing.
put another
He's
type
playing
of brace on him
in
and
Buffalo.
send him into the
It's
game.
over.
All right.
He'll have a neck brace next. Watch.
Now, as somebody who welcome to Dumpsville. Why do you have the Jaguars? Why do you have 2 defenses and one of them being the Jaguars playing Philly?
They're
Your
26
birds.
in the league.
I needed to start the Jags this week because the Bears were playing New England.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, but the Bears are number 1 defense right now.
Number 2,
Yeah, so I didn't want to drop them.
of course.
So
Sorry, that's all it is.
neither here nor there. The Jags might be on the waiver wire come an hour and a half from now.
Well, they're playing Philly, so
yeah.
So
I needed 1 week, and I never like to roll 2 defenses, but I had to do it.
okay.
I did get the best kicker in the game, Greg Zerline.
Legatron,
Legatron.
Greg the Leg.
I guess, I don't know. Somehow he ended up on my team after being drafted so high, but it's weird how that happens. So you just drop kickers because that's what happens.
Yeah.
Who drafted him?
I don't know, probably Brad Friend the
Yeah,
third.
Brad or me, right? You love those kickers.
Okay, open up that box. Reach into Ashley Sayers' inbox.
As always, and I'll prove it to you here, we've still got the blue dot. I haven't looked at it yet.
It's real.
Why
haven't
would
opened
you?
the
We got a
message.
half a sentence. That's all.
That's all I got.
And before we even get in, I'd like to give a shout out to Perry because we appreciate this.
Yeah.
Every week in, week out, guy's got a family, he's busy, and
He's
he's
dipping
still
into the box.
and he dips into the
He
box.
makes time.
He's like, let me get in that box.
Yeah.
I will give props to a few because I reached out to the league and I asked some hard-hitting specific questions about their team today and said, we want to hear you, we want your response.
Yeah.
Sully showed up. Amit called in. Nightingale called in. Perry
good week.
responded.
Yeah.
1 or 2 people still
You just got to rattle the
incommunicado,
cage.
but
Yeah.
you know what? At least we've had some input this week.
I expected some hotness from Kurt.
I was hoping for it.
We've been hoping for it for 2 weeks and
Yeah.
he's just gone sideways.
Radio
Should we call
silent.
him maybe? Is that a new thing? A new segment?
No, we don't
called
call
them.
that.
Podcast touches out.
No, we don't.
It's
call it.
late. He's got a baby. Maybe
Yeah.
not this time.
No.
But I'm just saying.
I
don't
hear what
reach
you're
out.
saying. That's
You
not
can
bad.
think up maybe
That's
the
not bad.
podcast reaching out.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, we want to hear from
Especially
you.
when you got a quiet week.
Yeah.
You shake the boat.
And
Call
they,
me.
And
I'll
they
answer.
just say no comment.
I'll be there.
Hang up
I'll
on
tell you if I'm at work.
Here we go.
Then go to the office.
Are you ready?
Yeah, give me a minute.
Give me a minute. I'll call you
go ahead
back.
in the office.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
All right. From the GM of The King and His Men.
I don't expect a question. I just expect him to rant and then end.
He's gonna
That's
talk
what it-
about beating me by like a point and a
Here
half.
we
Oh,
go.
it's all he could talk about.
Sucks. Yeah, I'm not
That's
happy.
all he could
I'm not
talk.
content.
He considers you. Did you know he considers you his arch nemesis?
Really?
Yeah, he figured that you were gonna beat him. He was so fucking.
That's awesome when he's your regional manager.
Yeah,
You're
he
trying,
was-
trying to climb the
he-
corporate
he
ladder.
was-
Assistant to the
Become
regional
an
manager.
arch nemesis.
Yeah, he considered. Yeah, he's like, Sully is my kryptonite. He's always gonna beat me. Oh, it was a whole thing. It was hilarious.
well.
It was hilarious how panicked he was.
Well done, Perry.
Anyways,
No hard feelings, bud.
Yeah.
I've always loved you.
okay, let's go.
Past the halfway point prior to playoffs. Good luck to you all, to all you competitors. Oh, Dono, I feel for you. 8th highest points and 1-6. Sully has no business with his record of 4-3. Lowest points against by 252.4 points
I'm the black hole, I told you. In the
to the
beginning.
team who has allowed the most. Fuck. That is me at 843.9 against.
God, that might even.
Perry's got the most points against.
Yeah, he does.
That sucks.
Sully, he really digging into yourself. Sully has the
I
lowest
called
point. Sully has the lowest points for by 379.1 points to our champ, the mighty Bounty Hunters. You're almost 400 points behind Corey.
I'm the black hole. How many times do I
I
have to
know.
say
I
it?
put up like 68 points against.
What do you
Sully.
want me to do? You guys can't play football against me. Does that make me good or does that make
He
you
ground and pounds. He controls the
Yeah,
clock.
Tito
It's not-
Ortiz always been my favorite.
Yeah,
player.
it's not high
So fun to
scoring.
watch.
Yeah, he puts you
maul
against the
you.
fence, and it makes it a long night.
Nobody wins.
To quote season 1, that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Enough said on that garbage. Facing Big Daddy Patty this week. It will be tough with 2 vets in fantasy, but even though I have Julio on a bye and Sony not playing, the smooth, majestic moves of Kenny G will prevail.
Ooh.
Last word. All you fucks that add and drop just to ensure a player needs to be claimed compared to just add. Really? I teach my kids to be better compared to people that must lie and cheat like Trump. You know who you are,
Whoa.
and Dad of the Year should be revoked just on that.
Oh,
Shots
fired. Holy. Now, do we know who was guilty of this?
I think that goes back to the GM of Go Luck Yourself who added and dropped a bunch of guys on waiver wire.
Oh, he was
because he was salty. And
I
now
didn't even know that happened until I
Oh, yeah,
heard the
he did,
podcast,
yeah,
and I reflected back on all this poor
Oh,
decision making.
oh,
and
that's
then
what he's
threatened to
talking about.
quit and threatened to leave.
My
and-
big stand to this whole thing, I just moved all my players to the bench for a minute because I was upset with the whole fucking everyone being upset with each other.
You want the
shake-
silent protest.
I didn't
route.
shake the whole league
Yeah,
up,
Gandhi
ruin
is a
everything.
Yeah, some people take a knee and some people just
Yeah.
sort their thoughts out in their mind.
All right. Well, we need to get Kurt on the podcast.
I've efforted. I sent a message today. Got
and
nothing
he
in
was
response.
in my messages
Nothing,
too.
eh? He's
Nothing.
probably
I
doing
hope
some
he's-
iron around Vancouver.
He definitely is. Or Bend and
He
Rod.
works with iron, right?
Yeah.
One of those guys?
Yeah, he's a rod buster. He's an iron worker. He's a.
He's stronger than
A
both
rod
of us.
buster. That's not a. That's like
He-
a
Doesn't
prostitute.
sound like a good time.
He's got. He definitely has stronger hands than all of us.
Yeah,
There's
right.
no question about that. He bends iron for a living.
So
He
now,
builds bridges.
In
The
back-to-back weeks, we have yet to talk about
Built a
matchups
ton of
or
ones.
matchups going forward, but we've had great banter. And Sul, as our guest, thank you for bringing in the whiskey.
Anytime.
And we'd love to hear final thoughts from you, and we'll end it on that.
Honestly, can I just do like a reflection to the past really quick?
Absolutely.
I was just hashing it out the other day with I'm looking right at his name right there. He's an ex-member of the league,
Ron Rigo.
a former GOAT.
Yeah.
He
A very well respected member. I saw him today.
He actually brought to my attention a story from the past that I had completely forgotten. I'd kind of like to share it with the league.
Please.
And I'll just bring it to light, and hopefully we can all just rah on this and talk about it together. Do you gentlemen remember? I believe it was the first or second year this league was established. We all may have had a couple of cocktails. We did our American Thanksgiving there at Mike Finesse house. I believe it was the first or second time we ever did it. And we all happened to get into a bumbling disagreement, as we obviously do. This, however, was unable to have been put to a vote. And we all ended up out in the middle of Shaughnessy Street, one of the biggest roads in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia, where we all reside, foot racing each other, one at a time. We happened to shut down the busy street. And
I remember.
And decided it was a good idea to just leg race each other.
We were doing 40 times, clocking 40 times.
Yeah, and most of us were over 30 at the time, so it was a tricky time. But that just popped into my head recently, having a reflection with old Rodrigo since he came back into my life, working at the old Burnby.
Now, if memory serves me correct, you actually raced one-on-one with Rodrigo.
Yeah,
without your shoes on.
I was barefoot,
and I believe at the finish line you just jumped in a cab and left because you were never to be seen again that evening.
Yeah, I think I threw up a couple of times.
Yeah.
Ron was talking about how he blew out his leg and he hasn't been the same since. That was about 7 years ago.
40 yards is a long distance for two large fellas. So we're just happy you're here and healthy now.
Yeah, we're alive and well. Back to reality. Just happy to be here in this league, and again, I'd like to, I guess, apologize for stirring the pot a little harder than should have been stirred.
I don't think
the mistakes that were made.
I don't think apologies are necessary.
Yeah, you just like to send that out to the league, being a good Canadian kid that we are.
All right,
just,
fair.
Always ready with an apology. But yeah, I don't think it was anything on my part was done maliciously. I don't think anything on our commissioner's part was done maliciously. I think the whole situation's been a little bit misconstrued, and I just wanted to come kind of sort that out a little bit and make sure everyone is aware that we're all just here to have a little fun. Hopefully somebody makes a good sum of money at the end of this year, and we come back again as friends and do it again.
We can't wait. Next year's year 10. Thanks, Saul. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Anytime.
So,
We're
any
happy to
chance
have
you're
you.
going to be able to make Vegas?
Yeah. Did you not hear my
No.
I wanted to put something to a vote. I just didn't make it to draft day. So Vegas has been the talk of the last year.
Yeah.
I got an idea.
What is it?
Vegas is great.
Oh, God.
But we all like a different team, correct?
Yeah. Well,
It's a little late in the year now to be doing this, but I wanted to say, whoever wins this year, let's all fucking fly to where their team resides and draft there.
Wow!
So Nightingale wins, we're going to Nolans. Perry wins, we're going to Minnesota for some fucking reason.
But
you
have the
win
opportunity.
New England.
You have the
win
opportunity.
Philadelphia.
You have the
I
opportunity.
win Oakland.
You have the We're not going to Oakland. Let's just. Oakland's moving to Vegas, so we're gonna go to where Oakland's going.
Someone's a little scared of the black hole.
Sully, I'm not mad at it.
That's a great
That's
idea.
a cool idea,
That's
right? It'd be a lot of fun.
super cool idea.
But it's a little late in the year to fucking sell that by some other teams in last place. You know
Okay,
what I'm
but
saying?
Vegas, it's all good?
Vegas, 100%. I can make it work. I might need to bring the wife, but she can find something.
That's
Absolutely.
fine. I don't care.
need-
Nobody cares.
Hopefully you guys maybe do the same, and our wives will parlay to victory.
Yeah, that's not the worry. The worry is not that. It's just the one night.
No, I
It'll
can
be
make
the
it
one night. Okay,
I'll
great.
try to do 2. Maybe get a little sleep in Vegas. I've never been before.
Oh, God.
It's gonna be a whole thing. Well, thanks for tuning in to episode 4, I guess now. And if anybody wants to come on next week,
Is this season 3?
the couch is open.
Season
Season 2. It feels
Season
like it's
2.
been so long, but it hasn't.
Whatever.
Thanks for listening.